Welcome to Kodennected Voices, the podcast where lived experience meets trauma-informed truth. I'm Janine, founder of Kodennected, somatic trauma coach and specialist in narcissistic abuse recovery and neurodivergent well-being. Here we talk about things like workplace trauma, emotional manipulation, nervous system healing, and the power of reclaiming your voice. Whether you're navigating narcissistic abuse, parenting through neurodivergence, or rebuilding after burnout, this space is for you. Let's reconnect, let's embody, let's transform. You're listening to Kodennected Voices. Let's begin. The ripple effect of healing, building a boundaried world. I stayed in a job for 11 years because I thought that's just what life was supposed to be. Hard, draining, a struggle. And it wasn't just work. I stayed in a 14-year marriage that was covertly abusive. And when that ended, I spent another 6 years in an even more covert, narcissistic relationship. I told myself, this is what life is. This is what relationships are supposed to feel like. But here's what I discovered. Survival isn't the same as living. And I want to ask you, what if life isn't meant to be about survival at all? What if it's meant to be about compassion? When we live in survival mode, our nervous systems adapt. They go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It's biology, not weakness. But here's the cost. Survival shuts down our best human qualities: compassion, creativity, curiosity, and connection. Think about schools. Teachers often see behaviours they don't understand. A child melting down, shutting down, lashing out. It can feel personal. But what if it isn't defiance? What if it's a nervous system stuck in survival? And here's the truth. Staff carry their own survival wounds too. When their triggers meet a child's triggers, everyone escalates. But if staff have tools to regulate in the moment, a grounding breath, orienting to the room, unclenching the jaw, they don't just shift themselves, they shift the entire classroom. Neurodivergence adds another layer. An autistic child or an ADHD child may experience the world more intensely. Their nervous system lights up differently. When we don't understand that, we risk labeling them as problems. But when we do, we see that what looks like chaos is often communication. Compassion begins with understanding our own body so we can meet others in theirs. Healing doesn't stop with us. When a teacher regulates themselves, they show compassion to a child. That child feels safer and takes that safety home. Families shift. Communities shift. I call this the ripple effect of healing. And I see it like a conveyor belt. On one end, people are stuck in fear and dysregulation. As they move along, they discover boundaries, compassion, safety. At the far end, they live with creativity and courage. Not everyone is in the same place at the same time, but those further along can apply their oxygen mask first, then help the ones behind. That's how healing becomes contagious. Compassion also means boundaries. So what do we do with our newfound boundaries? We put them into practice, not just in our personal relationships, but further afield. One of the most practical ways I teach this is what I call the Interview Reframe Toolkit. Normally, walking into an interview feels intimidating. A panel of people judging you. But here's the reframe. The more people on that panel, the better. Why? Because now you get to observe them. You ask the questions. What does your company stand for beyond profit? What changes have you made in response to staff feedback in the last 6 months? How are mistakes handled? What do you do every day to inspire people to want to work for you? Then you watch. Do they answer openly or deflect? Do they blame or take accountability? Boundaries give you power. You're not begging for a job. You're choosing if this is a place where your nervous system can thrive. This same principle applies everywhere. As consumers, we can notice when adverts try to manipulate us through fear. That subtle unease in your body after a purchase, that's your nervous system recognizing you were sold to with fear. And in politics, boundaries mean we choose leaders differently. Do they inspire, or do they tear others down? Do they own mistakes, or do they blame shift? A boundaried world is one where compassion and accountability guides our choices, not fear. Healing doesn't erase the cracks, it transforms them. In Japan, there's an art called Kintsugi, broken pottery repaired with veins of gold. The cracks are not hidden, they're honored. That's what happens when we heal. Our scars don't make us weak. They make us stronger, more beautiful, more valuable. And in those golden seams, we find our superpowers. Self-compassion, boundaried compassion, belonging, creativity and curiosity, and collective courage. Here's what I believe. Change doesn't have to come from above. We don't have to wait for leaders, governments, or systems to fix themselves. Change rises from within us. When we heal, we ripple compassion outwards into families, classrooms, workplaces, communities. Those ripples become waves. And this is how we build a boundaried world. A world where compassion leads. A world where ordinary people become superheroes of compassion. This isn't a revolution of anger or hate. It's a revolution of care, of courage, of saying we all deserve better, so let's have better, because we can. The power to transform the world is already in us, one nervous system at a time. Thank you for joining me on Kodennected Voices. If something in today's episode spoke to you, trust that it mattered. Your story matters. If you'd like trauma-informed support as you heal, grow and reclaim your nervous system, you can connect with me via Instagram at Kodennected. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it, subscribe and leave a review. It helps this podcast reach those who are still learning how to feel safe again. Until next time, reconnect, embody, transform. This is Kodennected Voices.